Now that we covered most of the binary operators except bitwise, something I have left intentionally, maybe in future I'll cover this part, but at this moment we don't really need the bitwise operator. Let's move to the next type, which is unary operator. And surely you remember unary operator only work with single variable, okay, or single operand. So let's see how the unary operator look like. There are quite many unary operator we have. We have unary plus, unary minus. So this is not arithmetic plus or arithmetic minus. This is unary plus and unary minus, and they will only work with single variable, okay. And then we have increment operator, we have decrement operator. We'll look them in real life how they work. And of course we have logical not. We can use that here as well, but I will keep them inside the logical operator in the binary part for now, okay. And then we have bitwise not, something I will not cover here as well. I will go with the last one, which is size of operator. This operator basically help us to find out the size of different data type, and you'll see quite often them anyway later on, okay. So let's continue. We will start with the first one, and that's why I'm going to create a file here called unary operator, or unary. Yeah, let's call it unary operator.c operator.c. Okay, and let's create the basic structure as usual. I'll real quick because we already know what basically they do for us. Hash include stdio.h. Then we need the main, and there you go. We have created the main function here. Okay, I do not need really these arguments, so let me get rid of them and let's start. Okay, here we can start doing our code. So I need two variables, or let's start with first one here. So x has the value of 5. And now let's start with the first one. I will go immediately with printf, and then I'm going to print the value of x here. And let's use %d, and new line. Then we are going to print something here. Now I can get one more variable called result, and then here I will do some operation. But before doing the operation, I will always print the result just to keep it here for now. That's all. Now let's use the first one, which is unary plus. And what the unary plus does it for us, actually it's not going to be that much helpful at this point, because we explicitly have always plus here, even though if we do not write. So this is the unary plus. So if the value is something, then it's going to do some multiplication with plus operator here, and which is not necessary actually. So again, this operator doesn't change the sign of a value. It basically often not explicitly used, because positive values are the default anyway, right? And then the unary minus, which will be handy, that will help us to change the value. So here, if I use minus x, that means it's going to change whatever the previous value x has. So in our case, if the value has plus 5, it will be minus 5 here. But if we had minus 5, then minus into minus, it will be plus 5 here, right? So it basically, this operator changed the sign of a value to its negative. That's all. Okay. Now let's continue with the rest of the stuff here. I'm going to just go down below here. And in this case, let's say we want to see how the increment operator works. So there are two ways to use the increment operator. Let's say x plus plus. And there is one more thing. I will just keep it as a 5 here at the beginning. So the value of x is 5 at this point so far here. Let me just even comment them, because you already know what they've done, what they do actually. So I have commented them. Let's focus on the increment and decrement. Now there are two ways we can use this increment or decrement operator. We can use them after the variable or before the variable. So when you use them after the variable, they are called post increment. When we use them before the variable, they are going to be called pre-increment. So when we say pre-increment, basically they increment by 1 immediately here. So immediately the value of x will be incremented here. That's the most important thing what I'm saying here. Now I'm going to print the value of x just to show you here what basically this one do for us. Again, I will take out the other one. So here, let's just focus on this one. Immediately, the value of x is incremented in this line. So even, let me just get rid of this one. I will just take the comment here. All of them will be commented, so they will not be executed. Here, I'm going to use plus plus x. So now what do we think? What do you think what will happen in this line? Let's just focus on this line for now. So the initial value of x is 5, and we have pre-increment. That means immediately the value of x will be changed here, and it will print 6. So it increments by 1 here, that's all. Then let's continue. If we have minus minus x, what is happening here? It is decremented here immediately because it's pre-decrement. So immediately the value of x will be decremented here. Now what about the post-increment and post-decrement? Now let me do one more thing, even moving forward. Here I'm going to print this time just the value of x, because I want to show you, even before going to the post increment or decrement part, I just want you to show what basically we have here. And now let's print it. Let's see the output. What is the output we are going to get here? So the value of x was at the beginning 5, remember that. And here, when we are coming, the initial value was 5, immediately incremented to 1, so it will be 6. So here the value of x is 6. Let me just write it down here real quick, and maybe I can move this one a bit there. Remember, the last value of x is 6, and we are coming to this line. So the value of x is 6, but immediately decremented by 1. So it will be 5 here. So the value of x is basically 5. And that's why we have 5 here. In the next line, we are just printing the value of x, which was the last value. It was 5 for the x. So here, the value of x will be 5. Now let's continue. If I add plus plus here, what do you think what will happen? If pre-increment means immediately incremented by 1, then post-increment will be the opposite. It will not increment immediately. It will wait for the next appearance. So what do I mean by that? Next time when it will see x again, then it will increment. But it is not incrementing here immediately. So if the value of x was 5 in the last one, of course we have seen that the last value of x was 5. When it will come here, it is still 5. It is still 5. Why? Because it's going to only increment when it will see x again later on, but not here. So in this case, it will print here 5. Now let's say if I want to print in the next line x, what do you think what will happen? If you recall, I just mentioned here, the value of x is not incrementing here immediately, but next time when it will see x, the value will be incremented by 1. So if the value of x was 5 here, when it has seen, remember, we promised that last time, when we'll see the x, it will increment by 1. So the value of x will be 6 here. Now let's continue. If I say x decrement here, what do you think? The value of x was last time 6. Do you think it will decrement immediately here? Unfortunately, no, of course not. So it will remain 6, but when next time it will see x, it will decrement immediately 1. So if I just put x here, what do you think this time will happen here? So we promise when next time we'll see x, it will decrement 1. So here it will decrement 1 and it will be 5. Now let's have some more fun here. Let's say if we have here minus minus x this time, what do you think what will happen? The value of x was 5, so immediately decrement, that means it will be 4, right? Then now if I have here, let's say x plus plus, and in the next one, if I have plus plus at the beginning, and what do you think what will have in these two cases? Please think carefully. Last value of x was 4. So we have the value x is 4 here. We are not going to increment immediately. That means this one will still have 4. But remember, when we'll have next x, it will increment 1. So we came here. The last value of x was 4, but we promised that we will increment by 1 next time when we'll see. So it will be 5. And then also we have pre-increment. Then that means we need to increment here immediately 1 more. So it will be 6 here. And now let's run and let's check all the output. I know at the beginning it might be a little bit confusing, but if you try, surely it will be easier for you to understand. All you need to remember, for the pre-increment, it will increment immediately in this case for the variable value. And for the post increment, it is not going to increment it immediately, but next time when it will see X, it will increment. That's all. So let's run this program and let's see what do we have here. So I need to compile it and run it again. And there you go. We have quite many output. The first one 6, then we have 5, 5, 5, 3 times. Of course, our also has 3 times 5. Then we have 6, 6, 6, 2 times. Then we have 5, 5 match, and then we have 4, 4, 6, and 4, 4, 6. So everything has, worked here perfectly. So I hope you got the concept of incrementing and also decrementing. Now let's have a look with the size of operator and how does it work. So here I'm going to create some variable. Let's say for the size of operator, I'm going to say size of integer. So if you want to see what is the size of integer variable, we can use, of course, %d here. And here I'm going to say size of integer. So let me just get rid of this, and here size of integer. And then let's see what will be the output here. Let me just get rid of this command. I can close the terminal for now. Let's do it for others. So if we want to see the size of float data type, we're going to use float here. And then we can continue like this. We can use character data type. We can use some other data type, whatever we have. We have double data type. Let's use that as well, double data type. For now, let's keep this 4 for basic one, and let's compile and run it again. And we can see size of integer is 4, 4 bytes. Then size of float is 4 bytes, size of double is 8 bytes, and size of character is 1 byte. So when you want to find the data type, how much memory they're going to take, you can check it like this. Of course, later on, you will see that we are going to use the size of integer, size of float, size of double, these kind of things. Okay, that should be all for now. At least you know how to use unary operator and you're familiar with them.